May 16th, 2018 meeting of the Windsor Planning Commission will now come to order. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Doug Dennison,
Present.
Travis Yingst,
Here.
Victor Talon,
Here.
Gail Schick,
Present.
Jerry Bushelman, Daniel Foreman,
Present.
Tim Annable. Town Board Liaison, David Sislowski.
Here.
First item of business is a review of the agenda by the Planning Commission for any addition of items or new business to be added.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the agenda as written.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Talon, seconded by Commissioner Dennison, that we accept the agenda as presented. Those in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. And motion carries unanimously. Next item is public invited to be heard. If there is anyone who has an item they wish to present to the commission that is not on tonight's agenda, now is the time to do so. If you decide to come to the podium with an item, you'll have a 3-minute time limit, and there is a red light, green light, yellow light indicator on the podium. It'll let you know 30 seconds before the 3 minutes is up. So if there's anyone who has an item, now's the time to come to the podium. Seeing there be none, we'll move to the next item. The consent calendar is what we're going to be moving to, is consists of the approval of the minutes of the May 2nd, 2018 meeting.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of the May 2nd, 2018 meeting.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Talon, second by Commissioner Foreman, that we approve the minutes as presented. Those in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed vote no. And motion carries unanimously. Moving into the board action items this evening, we'll close our regular meeting, open up a public hearing for major subdivision, Chimney Park subdivision, 4th filing. Harlan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This item is the Chimney Park 4th filing major subdivision. The application has been reviewed in conformance with section 17.4.10 of the major subdivision. The site is located just north of Chestnut Street, west of State Highway 257, and east of Chimney Park, as well as a town drainage area right in here. The site's surrounded by zoning of open space, mixed-use residential, as well as industrial light and heavy industrial to the north. This site is zoned RM2 for high-density residential. Pardon me, that's MF2, that is. The site currently has a large concrete structure that's left from being used by the sugar plant to the north. The plat characteristics include 6.5 acres of land, 4 tracks for additional garages, 3 tracks for open space, 1 tract of open space landscaping, and that is 58% of the entire site. There will be 51 townhome lots platted with this subdivision. Here is the layout. This consists of a private drive that loops through the townhomes with some private open space within the center here, and the lots on the west side look out over the park, and on the east side, lots facing the light industrial. And then there are additional garage spaces available for the owners, and that abuts the Great Western Railroad right-of-way. along the north there. The lots that are focused, or the lots that are located along Chestnut Street will be faced towards the street and have front doors that walk out to the sidewalk there. The proposal is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The conformities are listed in your packet and also above, consistent with Chapter 5B of the Growth Framework Plan, with the goal of maintaining community character while accommodating future growth that is fiscally and environmentally responsible, prioritizing new growth in areas that already have town infrastructure and services, as well as incentivizing infill development to complete neighborhoods and completing neighborhoods adjacent to the town core. Additionally, Chapter 5C, Residential Area Framework, with the goal of supporting diverse housing for a variety of family styles, lifestyles, and income levels. There was a neighborhood meeting held on January 25th. That was held at the Pelican Lakes restaurant office space area for meetings. There was one neighbor in attendance, and that neighbor shared supporting comments that he felt that the design fit in with the neighborhood and it was a good addition, especially since this site has had a history of illegal dumping and various problems. Notifications of the neighborhood meeting are shown here, January 3rd and 5th. And for this public hearing, notifications were sent out on May 1st, as well as the posting on the property. Staff is recommending that the Planning Commission forward to the town board a recommendation of approval as presented, with the condition that all Planning Commission and staff comments be addressed. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, and the applicants are here as well.
Okay. Since this is the public hearing portion of the
Oh.
process, is there anyone in the audience who has any questions or comments pertaining to this agenda item?
I do. I need to enter the following into the record.
Okay.
The
do that.
application, supplemental materials, staff memo, and supporting documents, testimony from the public hearing, and the recommendation.
Anyone else from the audience have any comments, questions?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Talon, second by Commissioner Bushelman, that we close the public hearing. Those in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed vote no. And motion carries unanimously. We will reconvene our regular meeting, move to the next agenda item, which is a recommendation to the town board for major subdivision, Chimney Park subdivision, fourth filing. David, you have a comment?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Mr. Chair, for the record, I'd like to disclose that I am a sitting member of the town board, and I'm here in my capacity as a non-voting liaison to this planning commission. Although I am present at this public hearing, I will not be giving my opinion or participating in the discussion. I will not let tonight's proceedings influence or affect my review of this matter when it comes before the town board. I will make my decision at the town board level based only on the evidence presented during that town board public hearing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Carlin, any additional information that you have?
Nothing further?
Does the applicant have any comments or information they want to present? Okay. Comments, questions from the commission? Sure.
What kind of price range are these gonna be in?
If we could get your name and address for the record?
Hi, I'm Mike Zaff. My address is 1855 East Seadrift Drive, Windsor. And to answer your question, price range is going to be probably somewhere between 330 and 340, 330,000, 340,000. They're going to be 17, there's two different plans, 1,700 square feet up to just under 2,100 square feet. And they'll all have two-car attached garages. So,
And I make an assumption that large concrete pad will be taken out. of the-
yes,
Yeah.
first thing.
You could probably take that out and raffle it off. That's the old pulp pit that was there years ago. Any other questions, comments? Victor?
Mr. Chair, I just, I like the plan that you presented to us in the past, and I liked what you put the garages against the manufacturing side, so people aren't trying to live in that environment. So it's a nice plan. I think it's gonna be a good fit for that area. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for building that for us there.
Thank you.
And with that, I move that we forward to the town the recommendation of approval of the final subdivision, subject to the remaining commission and staff comments being addressed.
Second.
And moved by Commissioner Talon, seconded by Commissioner Dennison, that we forward a recommendation of approval to the final subdivision to the town board, subject to all planning commission and staff comments being addressed. Those in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. And motion carries unanimously. Moving on to our next item, which is a recommendation to the town board for final site plan. David, you have a comment here, I take it?
Mr. Chair, yes, I guess out of abundance of caution, I'd like to read into the record the same statement I just did.
Yeah.
I will try to clarify for sure whether I need to repeat. But for the record, Mr. Chair, I would like to disclose I am a sitting member of the town board. I'm here solely in that capacity as a non-voting liaison to the planning commission. Although I will be present during this public hearing, I will not be giving my opinion or participating in the discussion. I will not let tonight's proceedings influence or affect my view of this matter when it comes before the town board. I will make my decision at the town board level based only on the evidence presented during the town board public hearing.
Thank you, David. Carlin?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and Commission. The item before you is Chimney Park 4 filing, Lot 1. And this proposal was reviewed in accordance with Chapter 17 of the Municipal Code, outlining the process for site plan as well as the site plan for multifamily developments. And along with the major subdivision, the preliminary site plan you also saw on March 7th of this year. Again, the surrounding zoning, this has been zoned MF2 for quite some time. The property, as you mentioned, it used to be used for the Great Western Sugar Factory sugar beet dump, which is the concrete pad that's still there. And these are just a view to the east here on the left, and then southeast on the right. And a view towards Chimney Park. And the site plan includes 6.5 acres. There are 51 townhome lots. Each of these townhomes will have 4 parking spaces available, 2 in the garage and 2 in the driveway right behind the garage. Additionally, the applicant has provided 1 guest parking space per 8 dwelling units for 7 additional spaces. And there are also 38 single bay garages available along the boundary of the Great Western Railroad tracks there. And I should say that's actually a spur versus a very active railway there. The building heights, painted lap siding, an overall parking space count of 265 when 109 are required. So that's an overall 5.2 parking spaces per unit. And again, 58% of the site will be common area and 27% of that will be landscaped. And this again shows the layout and just a breakdown of the different land uses. And just zeroing in here on the property and the buffering along the east side to buffer the light industrial to the east. And again, there will be street trees and walkout units along Chimney Park. These building elevations haven't changed since the last time that you reviewed them, March 7th. Combination of different materials. The applicant hasn't narrowed down colors yet, but they'll be consistent with the neighborhood, nothing outlandish. And these I just included to show what would be included in these units. 3 levels, considerably large units here. And the plan is consistent with the comprehensive plan goals, again, of Chapter 5B, the growth framework, and Chapter 5C, residential area framework. And staff is recommending that the Planning Commission forward to the Town Board a recommendation of approval of the final site plan as presented, subject to all Planning Commission and staff comments being addressed, and that the final plat for the property is approved. And staff requests that the application supplemental materials, memo, supporting documents, and recommendation are entered into the record.
Okay, thanks, Carlin. Comments, questions from the commission?
Mr. Chair, I move that we forward to the town board a recommendation of approval of the final site plan, subject to the conditions as stated by staff.
Second that.
And moved by Commissioner Talon, second by Commissioner Hinks, that we forward a recommendation of approval of the final site plan to the town board with the noted conditions listed. Those in favor of the motion will vote yes, those opposed vote no. And motion carries unanimously. Thanks, gentlemen. Communication from Planning Commission. Mr. Foreman. Jerry? Did we surprise you with our start time?
Almost forgot. Remember, almost done.
Mr. Talon?
No communications.
Travis?
Oh, not tonight.
Mr. Dennison?
No surprise.
I did have one thing for the commission, is that what I'd like to have everyone on commission do when they receive their information on Friday from, usually Carlin sends it out, just to respond back whether or not you'll be in attendance for the following week, and if you could do that by the Tuesday prior to the Wednesday meeting. That way we know exactly who'll be coming, and in case we have to move some name tags around, we'll be ready to go. So, and most of you are doing that already, so, but if we're gonna make that a standard operating procedure.
Can you help me out?
Communication from town board liaison, David.
Mr. Chair, a follow-up to my announcement at the prior meeting when I said I was the alternate in taking Mr. Bennett's place. At our last board meeting, Mr. Bennett was voted to be Mayor Pro Tem. And given the duties of that job, he felt he would have to step away from this position, so here I am. I am now your primary liaison.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a learning experience for all of us.
I'm looking forward to working with you all.
Communication from the staff. Carlin, you have anything?
I just wanted to thank everyone for responding quickly when we sent out the agenda. I did get responses from everyone.
Yeah, don't you guys have to work for a living? You're sitting at your computer all day or what? That was pretty quick, I noticed that.
You want to use the phone?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Scott, you have anything?
Just a reminder that we won't have another regular meeting until after we have our joint work session with Town Board on June 4th. So hopefully, most of you can make that joint work session at 6 PM on June 4th. And we'll go over the several land use code amendments and also the building department requirements. And I'm hoping to have some contractor licensing information as well. So just a reminder of that work session.
Okay, sounds good.
June 4th.
Mhm.
June 4th.
Yep,
Anything else, Scott?
no thanks.
Okay. Amanda, you have anything? Just glad to be here, right?
Move to adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Distance essentially is a comedy, the gap in my